Are you looking for a podcast where you can hear from real people regarding their real dental drama? If so, then you've come to the right place. Join hosts Bethany Petty and Dr. Rena Kuba as we dive into the solutions we've created and the mistakes we've made while managing dental drama. Let's get started. All right, Dad, back again.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Once again, Kuba's teed us up for some great questions. She just keeps them coming.
Does she just sit around thinking, how can I stump the old man?
What question can I ask that he won't answer? We'll see how far she goes. Huh?
Or we'll laugh like, oh, he's lost his mind. But she had some good ones.
She's got some good ones. Always she does. So I'm going to just, I would say not connected in any way. They're all kind of disjointed, but I feel like each of them are really good questions. So this will be a good broad one to open up with, which is you've got 4 kids. I'm the only one that went into dental.
Right.
You've got 12 grandkids. Would you recommend dental to any one of your grandkids? Why or why not?
Yeah, that is a great question. And I always ask, or people ask about your kids.
Yeah.
Are any of your kids in dentistry? And I'll tell them none of them became a dentist, and I don't know why. I'll say, I don't know if I just was griped and belly ached, and why didn't any of them follow me except you, know? So for you guys, I apologize if I painted a poor picture of dentistry back then. But in the early days, it's a struggle. You know, it really is a struggle. And I'm so grateful that you did.
Yeah.
Because it's
a great field.
It's a great field for you. You're definitely needed in this day and time. But our kids, so we have 12. So I would have, yeah. I mean, 2 of your brothers went into the car industry, and then your younger sister is in a surgical tech. So I'm glad that you followed me and have. But is it a good field for kids today? Absolutely. It's probably better today than it was when I started.
Yeah.
The technology, the education. Really, when I think we talked about before, when I started out, there weren't a lot of consultants.
Right.
There weren't a lot of people with a wealth of knowledge to help you overcome the struggles that you have in dentistry. So you just had to figure it out and make a lot of mistakes and repeat a lot of mistakes. And we've talked about a lot of mine, so let's not do that again. It's such a great day. But today, it's just an awesome field. If I had grandchildren going into it, it's a great way to make a living.
Yeah.
A great income. The lifestyle is so much better than our friends in the medical industry, particularly if you're in surgery and you're having to do hospital calls and post-op checks, and so it's just wonderful. The technology today is so great, and it's a wonderful. You can make a great living, you can have a great lifestyle, and you can help a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the older I get, I think that's what really drives me is the impact that we can make. We have a lot of people that are just, when we go over their treatment plan, and in Arkansas, it is a lot of dentures.
Yeah.
But we're changing their lives, and they are just tearful because they're in with a mouth that's just a mess. They're embarrassed. So we can literally change their lives. So yeah, I'd love to see grandkids. We have 12, and our oldest one is Ashton, and we thought for a while she was going to go into dentistry and follow her grandma, and then she slipped off in the medical field. So she is a 4th-year student at UAMS, going to go into OB-GYN next year. So there's still hope for some of the others. But it would be your kids or...
Yeah. So yeah, we've got Ashton, the oldest, at 25, and then all the way down to 6.
Right.
We know Ashton's brother Caden didn't go into dental, but everybody else really has a chance at choosing it as a career. So,
and more of those, your kids would be more likely because you're deep into it.
Yeah.
The others are a step away.
True.
Because they're not
their parents aren't
daily in listening to dentistry and listening to your parents talk about dentistry.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe someone, by the time I retire, let's see, your youngest is 6. If I can hang on till she gets out of dental school, I'll be 94.
Yeah. It's just that long. You got it.
Yeah. I was in a class several weeks ago here in Dallas, and it was the Southwest Dental Conference.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sitting next to a guy, 82.
Wow.
Still practicing full time. I said, I want to be you when I grow up. So there are those of us who,
And again, the fact that it is, again, a career that you can last that long.
Right.
Whereas there's plenty that you can't last that long in.
I had a conversation with an older gentleman in the office the other day, because people always ask how much longer, particularly new patients, are you going to be around? Yeah, I'm going to be around. And I said, this is not a physically demanding job.
Yeah.
I said, I get up out of a chair, I sit down. I get up out of a chair and sit down. Walk down the hall. I said, I can do this forever. So that's one of the great things about it's not physically demanding.
Yeah. And if you protect your body early enough,
like mine,
back and neck, as long as you're doing that, then...
Yeah, the partner I had in my practice years ago is 11, 12 years young, and he's already had to retire. Neck surgery, wrist surgery, so there's some that are unfortunate that it does take its toll, just the posture.
Yeah. But it is, I agree with you 100%. I think Dr. Kuba has asked me that as well. You know, would you encourage your kids to go on? And I'm like, absolutely. It's a fantastic career. You know, you think back on, I talk about this a lot when we're talking about insurance and dental insurance and why it was brought to the forefront. And, you know, back in the 50s, 60s, you know, dentistry was you have a tooth that goes bad, you pull it.
Right.
And so we had a very edentulous population, and so this was kind of a public health initiative that they brought. There was medical insurance, and they're like, let's do something like that for dental so that people will go to the dentist more regularly and hopefully prevent losing teeth. And so you think back, and that was, 70, 80 years ago.
Yeah.
Where the whole point was to try to get people to not just pull teeth. And now you fast forward and you look at how much the industry has grown in what it can offer and what it does, and you're just, how can an industry evolve that much over a relatively short period of time? But it's really it's a fascinating field to be in because of all the innovations, and so it's a good field.
And will be.
Yes, I agree completely. Okay, so that was the first question, which again,
yes.
Great question.
Send your kids to dental school.
Yes, encourage more to go into dentistry. And dental school, dental hygiene programs, we need dental hygienists out in the field. Even, I'm always encouraging people, get your foot in the door with dental assisting.
Right.
If you're interested in a medical field, try dental assisting. A lot of people will go the medical assistant route, which is fine, but I'm like, try dental assisting. So
because I think there are more options as a dental assistant, because I've had dental assistants that have fallen in love with dentistry and then gone on to dental hygiene school.
Yeah. Yes.
So there are options. I have a hygienist now that's taking a class a semester. We have a new dental school in Arkansas.
Yes.
And she wants to go to dental school, and I'm like, boy, that would be perfect for if I do retire, because she would naturally come back to our practice because she's been there, the patients know her, so it would be a great transition for us. So anyway, so there are lots of
There's lots
options.
of paths. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the field where you're, if you go to college, you immediately go to dental school. I've sit with so many that are assisting that are in what they call their gap year or two.
Yeah.
And they're, studying for exams, and they're trying to figure out what schools they're going to apply to. They're learning about the application process, and I sat with one recently that is just phenomenal. She's going to be great. But I was telling her, I was like, hey, you should look. There's a new dental school in Arkansas. And so we were talking about that. And she said she learned a lot this first year. She only applied to 3 dental schools. And she said she didn't realize that that was a mistake, that you have to apply to multiple. And she got interviews, from that, which she was really excited about. But even just, the path to dental school doesn't have to be this. You graduate from college and immediately you're in a program. You can still get in even if you take a gap year or 2 or 3 or 10.
Whatever, yeah.
So I love the flexibility that you have to get into dentistry. So yeah, there's multiple, even fantastic office managers that make a career out of being an office manager. So it's just, there's a lot of potential.
Yeah. And stability, I think.
Yeah.
But it's a fun industry.
It really is.
I still like it.
Okay, so her second question is, for new owners, what do you think is the wisest investment? So when you think about being a new practice, do you, as soon as you got a little bit of money, do you go purchase a piece of equipment? Do you invest in education? Like, how would you advise somebody in that way?
Okay, I think the natural default would be I have to have the newest technology, the greatest technology to be the best. But really, the basic needs of being a dentist haven't changed much in 48 years. You need an air compressor to drive a handpiece.
Yeah.
You need lighting, and you need suction. And you can do just, and a few tools, hand tools and extraction tools. But beyond that, everything else that's involved has made us more efficient, for sure, and made it easier. When I graduated from dental school, the protocol that we were taught in endo was 3 one-hour appointments to do endo. You did this on appointment 1, this on appointment 2, then you finished on appointment 3. Well, no wonder. Endo had a horrible reputation. So now fast forward, and you can do that in 45 minutes, with all of the technology. So you naturally think, well, technology is going to make me the man or woman that I need to be in dentistry. But I really don't think that's it. You could also choose the technology, the computers. All of our data that we have certainly makes it more efficient. But just 5 years ago, we still had all paper charts, and we were doing great. Was it messy and cumbersome? Sure, but it was still effective, and sometimes I missed those paper charts. So as I thought about this, I think 2 things for a new person. One would be invest in your people.
Yes.
People. I could have all of the tools, all of the expensive tools, and we have some of those. But if you don't have people with butts in the seat and people that like to come back, and they never like what we do as a dentist, they don't like the dentistry. But if they like the people around you, and the people around you can support you, and explain sometimes if they're unhappy with what you've done, they can cushion that. So anyway, so I think people, number one, people are your most important investment, because it's a team. It's not, hey, you're not going to be able to do this by yourself.
Yes.
You can answer the phone. You need good people around there. So for our practice, and I've said this before, a guy or a girl could come into my practice and probably produce almost as much as I do, because it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about the team that I have, and so that's it. Then second, I would get help from a professional like you outside the practice.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to waste all of your time trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
You're making your money when you're at the chair, so let someone else help you with hiring and choosing the right people and creating your brand and solving problems for you.
Yeah.
Solving problems, if you try to do it by yourself, it's non-productive.
Yeah. And it's not the skills that you were trained to do.
Well, and if you're part of the problem,
Yeah.
I like this. So you're part of the problem, you're the owner, and you're part of the problem. The same brain that got you in that problem is not the same brain that can get you out. You got to have another brain come in and look at this. So I would invest in my people,
Yeah.
and I invest in having someone help me out, a consultant run this practice,
Yeah, I think that's such a good point with, you and I were chatting last night about a startup that I had worked with, and great guy.
Yeah.
And I jumped in with him about 1 year in, and he just didn't even know what was possible with the practice. His vision of how much he could grow or how quickly he could get there was so limited.
Right.
Because he's never owned a business before. How would he know that?
No. Yeah.
And then when you talk to other buddies, the perspective is so different. You're like, what's the truth? What's the norm here? And so even me, thankfully, being able to work with him so early into his practice, just being able to set for him reality as I look at his practice, as I look at the market, to go, this is what you should expect, and this is what you should be aiming for. And he's like, that high?
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I couldn't even believe it. And I think he would have shot himself real short without that outside perspective to go, hey, you're dreaming way too small, buddy. Like, dream bigger, but dream realistically. I don't want you aiming so high that you're disappointed, but let's set some realistic goals and let's figure out how to get there. And he achieved all of those, and blew his own mind. And so even just that outside perspective to go, what should I be looking at? What should the practice be doing? How do I hit those markers? And getting that earlier on in the startup is so helpful. And you may not need it forever. You may get just enough help and support that you're like, okay, now we're rocking and rolling, we're feeling pretty good, and I know how to run this thing now, because you're learning as you go. And I would agree completely on the people. To me, it's so, I've got a startup that I'm working with now, and she's a very timid practice owner. Nervous, just about everything. And I get it. It's a huge investment, And so I'm like, I have got to find her a standout person. And a lot of startups, at least in the Metroplex, will start with one person.
Right.
Somebody that can assist and somebody that can do business.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I got one shot, to make this a great employee for this person. And so I was real picky with my team and who they were selecting and who they were sending along. I needed her to be go-getter, because she's pairing up with Nervous Nelly practice owner, that if I get another Nervous Nelly in there, it's going to fail.
Right.
And so I was so thrilled. I still look at this person and I'm like, I know that the Lord dropped this person out scot-free.
Might be an angel.
It might be an angel in disguise, because she had all the skills.
Yeah.
But she's got that go-getter. She's already asking me, the practice isn't even open yet. She's like, Bethany, let's talk marketing.
Wow.
Because she's like, I've worked with a startup before, thank God. And she's like, I know how important it is to get out in the community and hit the pavement, and I'm ready to hit the pavement. And I'm like,
wow.
This person, this one singular employee is going to help.
Is going to make that person successful.
Yep. So investing in those people, recognizing I need that talent. Where
Right.
am I deficient? And when I'm looking to hire somebody, even if it's a little out of budget,
Right.
I'm going to have to spend on that
Sure.
person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure how it is today in dental school, but really, dental school, the main focus was we have to develop your clinical skills.
Yeah.
And really beyond that, they didn't teach us anything.
Mm-hmm.
And in the old days, I think it's changed some. We were just silos. We were by ourselves. You didn't really communicate much. I think the younger people communicate more. And again, that's good and bad, because if you're getting all your education or your insight from your people that are in the same boat with you. So anyway, I think you come out, you don't really know anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes we come out with the attitude of, I know everything,
Yeah.
but you don't even know what you don't know, which is a dangerous position to be in, to assume that I'm going to go out here all by myself. And that just may be some personalities are that way. But I was in dental school, I was a lot like your little nervous Nellie.
Yeah.
Not assertive. If a patient didn't show up for an appointment, what I call them? Well, heck no, I'm not going to, pick up the phone and call that patient and say, where are you? So there are parts of me that's still within me.
Yeah.
That's a part of who I am. So it shows up in practice, but I have people around me, like if I assume that this patient is not going to go through with treatment, but I'll present it, but I'm thinking, and then they'll call and say, hey, they're moving over, because I have those people. We call them closers. They're great closers. In fact, we had a patient hadn't been in a couple of years, works with your brother.
Yeah.
And in the car industry, and he needed an extraction, and he didn't want to do an implant, going to do a bridge. And Melissa was doing the treatment plan, and he said, you need to be in the car industry. He said, you are the hammer. So it's important to surround yourself with people that are stronger than you, because we don't have to have it. I think that's it. We feel like when we're young and that we've got to be the answer for everything. That you are the critical cog in this machine, and if you fail, it's really it's your team. It's your team.
Yes.
I would quit dentistry if I didn't have my team. Literally.
Yeah.
I don't want to, of course, at my age, it's not much of, but they're just so important. So the wisest investment would be your team, and then getting outside help.
Support, yeah.
Don't be afraid to spend some money, because people like you will help prevent mistakes, they can be very costly. Mm-hmm. And just develop the team.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you 100% on that. Okay, so her third question is, are you a member of organized dentistry, like the ADA, State Dental Association, etc.? Why or why not?
I'm involved in the American Dental Association, Arkansas State Dental Association, and the American Academy of General Dentistry. So
Okay.
I'm involved in 3 and have been. I'm a lifetime members in all of them.
All of them, wow.
And I thought about that, and I think I like being involved with organizations that, I'm down in the nitty gritty, the day-to-day with patients, and these organizations are like 30,000 feet up looking at dentistry as a whole, and can see trends, and so I like having that knowledge and having those people looking at the industry. and also they're sources of great education. They're all educators, and they legislate for us at the state level and national level. They're trying to protect our industry. So I think they're very important. I've noticed through the years at the state level, we had great turnouts for our state dental meetings.
Yeah.
Less now. Sometimes I'm like embarrassed because we brought in this great speaker. There might be 100 of us, and I'm like, man. And they put us in a 500-seat room.
So it makes it so
I'm like,
worse.
you know how many people are coming? Put us in a room. Put us in a room. So I think a lot of younger people now are getting their continuing ed online.
Yeah.
So I don't know statistically how involved the younger generation is in those organized, but I hope they will, because they're.
I know. I hope it stays the norm, because I agree. I think there's just benefits of having people up at that level that are still entrenched in dental. Like, it's all dental, and I think we run a risk if you start looking at kind of siloing off your education and doing more online from various sources. They're all going to have, you mentioned silo earlier, they're going to all have a siloed perspective in the content that they're presenting. I think organized dentistry is always going to have a plethora of people looking at it from multiple angles, and you can keep kind of that big picture evaluation.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Hopefully our listeners cannot hear Harry Potter piano in the background.
All of Bethany's kids play the piano by learning by ear, so it's pretty impressive.
Yes, it's sounding very loud right now, but we'll move on. The question 4 is, if you had a disagreement with a plan of care with a specialist, how would you or how have you handled it in the past?
And I thought about that, and I don't think I've had a really big problem with any specialist. But I thought, what if I did? How would I approach it? And I thought, well, I would approach them with respect and honor, because they have continued their education, and so you've got to honor that and think, well, I sent them there because I trusted them. Yeah. And now we have a disagreement. So I thought I would approach it with just a question, not with any kind of attitude, but just humbly say, hey, could you help me understand this treatment that you're proposing, that you've recommended for my patient? Because if I can understand the reason for doing it, then I can help my patient understand it, and it's a win-win for all of us. And that just, you're not saying, why would you suggest this? But you're just saying, help me understand. And what you're doing is just opening up the conversation without any accusation, but you're just saying, help me. Yeah. From the top, was it Tom Cruise? Help me, help you. Help me, help you. Because it's not going to end well if you just say, man, I just disagree with this and you are wrong. You're going to need that person in the future. Yes. Yeah. This is an instance where maybe you disagree, but maybe you just need more knowledge on it. Right. Or in this conversation, maybe they can see your point of view or your patient's point of view. So I would just, if you have a conflict, and you probably will, just approach it humbly, with respect. Hey, help me understand. Yeah. I don't understand. Doesn't mean you're wrong. I just don't understand it. Help me. And I'll help my patient understand it. And to have the conversation. I think a lot of people would probably avoid in that situation. Because it's like, what do you do? I mean, I can't disagree with them now, but at the same time, it messes up what I had planned for the patient.
And I could see a lot of people just retreating from that conversation. And I think it's important to engage in the conversation at that point, because like you said, you've got to have a good ongoing relationship with this specialist. And rather than assuming that they just made an egregious error here, it's better to pause and have the humble conversation than to just blow past it and not engage.
Yeah, just don't make it confrontational. It doesn't have to be, doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a relationship with this person, hopefully for a long time. So if you just approach it from, I just need to understand. I don't understand. And maybe you do. But it's just the attitude you go into that with.
You know, it's interesting because thankfully I'm lucky enough to work with both general docs and lots of specialists. I actually have more specialists as clients than I do general docs. And so I can see it from the specialist perspective. They want to hear from you.
Right.
They know that their business is built off of these referrals and these great relationships. And I don't have a single specialist, at least as a client of mine, that would feel threatened by that. They would feel awful if they knew that something went wrong or that there was some kind of disagreement and they never knew about it.
Right.
So every single specialist is so focused on having a good open communication relationship with the people that refer to them. So I think they would welcome the conversation.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that's important to remember in the process, that they would prefer the conversation than for you to be unhappy.
Right, and not refer, and because it's a livelihood for both of you guys.
Yes, for sure. And then the other question that she asked is, what if another dentist threw you under the bus? What would you do? Have you had that situation?
I have, in a few times here in where I practice. So it was a pretty entrenched dental culture when I arrived there, over 20 years ago. Yeah. But there were two dentists. The practice that I bought started out as two dentists, then one of them became allergic to latex and quit dentistry. So then there's one left. And he wasn't really very old, but he was just tired of dentistry. He was sub 60.
Yeah.
And I think everybody practiced pretty much the same way in this small town. So then I come in and I was a little bit more progressive, built a brand new, nobody had built a new dental building in that town in decades. Yeah. So I come in and build this big 3,600 square foot building. And so there is that immediate threat. And of course, because it's a small town, limited
number of
patients. So here's this guy, who does he think he is? Even though I grew up there, it's my hometown. I don't think they wanted me back. So yes, so through the years, some jabs, and more recently from one of the guys, and the staff heard about it somehow. He's made these comments to a patient maybe that left us and went over there. He'd made these comments about us. And thankfully I have a good staff. They take up for me. She called the dentist.
Did she really?
Amanda called the dentist.
Oh my goodness.
And his response, well, he needs to talk to me. And she said, he doesn't even know about it.
Yeah.
I'm taking it up on myself. So then she told me about it later. So in my particular case, I don't have to worry too much. I got a good defense around me. But again, it would be a tough call.
Yeah.
And my non-assertive self would be, just let it ride.
Yeah.
That's the way I would handle it. I'm going to sweep it under the rug and let it go. But probably the correct response is, again, like approaching the specialist, I would call, be not confrontational, not hot at all, but to just say, hey, can we talk about this? I really haven't done anything to you. If anything, now you have a new patient because of me. I'm helping your practice. But it's that tough call, and it doesn't even make me just kind of sick thinking about having to make that call. But it's one of those calls that you ought to make.
You should.
Do what I say, don't do what I do.
That goes back to your original point. Hire good people to do it for you.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But if you can, non-confrontational, like, hey, I don't understand, and everyone practices dentistry differently.
Yeah.
And what I try to do when people come and because I get them come the other way.
Right.
I don't like this, and I'll say, no different than what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
They have a treatment plan, and I'll say, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with their treatment plan. And sometimes we'll be able to go ahead and then do that treatment plan. We'll get to do it in our office. And again, I think that's not me, it's the team that makes it possible, because really, clinically, I'm going to do the same thing this other guy did.
Yeah.
So maybe we just wrap the presentation up, or maybe we listen better, or maybe it's just that hearing it that second time, now they're ready to say, okay,
now I'm going to move forward.
I'm going to move forward, but I'm not going back to they rarely go back to the other person.
Right.
And I think that's because of our environment.
Yeah.
That our ladies do a really good job of explaining. And just as I've said before, primarily Melissa, Amanda also, primarily Melissa will just go back over the treatment plan and the finances, and then she'll say, do you have any questions? And then she sits. And she's not going to be the next person that speaks.
Yeah. That silence is powerful.
It is. Could not do it. You know me, I could not do it.
You'd be filling in the space
within
seconds.
We would be off, well, how's your family? What do you think about this? No. But Melissa just waits.
Yeah.
Lets them contemplate. Sometimes she'll say, sit, think about it for a minute. If you need to call someone, call someone. Yeah. And then she'll come back and finish. So anyway, it's good to have people that will do those things that maybe are just a stressor. I cannot be a closer. I cannot be a closer. I'm more than likely not going to call the dentist that says something. I'm just going to let it ride. It's like God will take care of it. But I'm not going to.
And I mean...
But you're the confrontational one.
I'm like, call that something.
I'm going to their house.
I'm going to show up and talk this out. I'm going to meet this man for lunch.
Yeah.
You know.
You and your sister are that way.
Yeah, but I get it, because most people aren't.
No, you're just...
But to me, it's an opportunity. I don't view it as I can't wait to chew this guy out. I view it as a chance to go, I'm going to win this guy over.
Yeah.
Or we're going to come to mutual terms. It's just not even a question of, can I work this out? We will work this out.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think, there's many people that is just like that. It's so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But I think there's an opportunity there to change the dynamic, not just in a relationship, but hopefully just by bringing it to their attention, they don't continue to speak negatively about not only you, but other providers, because that doesn't do the profession any good.
Right.
Patients are already suspect and nervous, and the last thing we need is to be stepping on each other's backs.
You're exactly right.
And so, if nothing else, help yourself by not speaking negatively, because as soon as you speak negatively about another doctor, you know that you're in the same category. Mm-hmm. You also are a dentist. And now you've looked, NFL.
Sorry, NFL? Sorry.
We got a game.
Sorry, got to go by.
So I think it's worth the confrontation. And if not, a phone call, ask that person, hey, can we meet up for coffee? Because sometimes those conversations are easier to have in person than over the phone. it's less likely to get heated in person, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And so it could be, hey, can I meet you up for coffee? I'd love to buy you coffee. And it doesn't have to be stop talking about it.
Can I meet you at the gun range?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. The gun went off.
The gun misfired directly into their head.
Well, and you have to think, and I think I played this game mentally so I won't have to make this confrontation, is that, there's got to be something going on.
Yeah.
Why? Because really there is something going on. I mean, why would you badmouth another dentist who means nothing to you?
Right.
But then I'm taking the higher road.
Yeah. Just
I'm taking the godly road. I'm turning the other cheek. That way I don't have to confront. I'm teasing myself. But if you don't have people, let's say you can't.
Yeah.
You're the owner, you can't. You have a staff, they can't.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
And you're worth the money.
Yeah.
To do
it, yeah.
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 You love that stuff.
I love it.
Send me in, coach. Yeah. It's fourth quarter, we're behind, but I think I can save the game.
Tag me in. Because there are people that will thrive on that in a good way.
Yeah.
And, maybe it's, if you're like, I can't approach the other practice owners, just not me, get the teams together.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we'd love to have your team over for lunch, or we'd love to come and bring your team lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And you can arrange it because you got your player on the team that's like, I'll take this challenge,
Yeah.
And so put the teams together, and hopefully there's better camaraderie after that lunch. And, there's various ways to solve this problem, but I hate to, say your way is not good on this, but don't.
I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that.
Just because it can continue, and that negative word of mouth is powerful.
It is. Yeah.
You have one patient that's charged up now with this information from another doc, and then they spread the word, and then next thing you know, you got other patients of yours that are hearing this negative information, and it's just, you got to put a stop to it early on, is what I would say. So.
I agree.
Of course.
I agree.
Okay, and then my question that I added on here, just any tips, just general tips that you have on your mind that you would want to tell our listeners?
I was thinking about, you asked me that, and I think one thing would be just be a constant learner.
Yeah.
Of course, clinically, but then just personally grow.
Yeah.
So that is reading, write books, and I think you occasionally mention books to them. Read the right books. There are all kinds of podcasts out there. You have a great podcast, has a lot of great information in there. And we were talking the other day about in Arkansas. You have an Arkansas guy that listens in the town that you grew up in, which is really, really neat.
So cool.
And some of your information has transformed the way that he's doing dentistry. So getting into some podcasts, of course, we think Bethany's is really, really great. It is. She and Dr. Kuba have a lot of great information. So I think the biggest thing is just be intentional about your education, because you can think, I'm there. I've gone to dental school, 4 years of college, 4 years of dental school. I'm here. But man, you have the basic clinical skills, but you're going to change as a person. So why not be intentional about the person you want to become?
Yeah. I think that's such a good point, where it's not just focus on career-wise what you need to learn, but growth as a person.
As a person.
Who do you want to be in, 20, 30 years?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't think about that because we feel secure in who we are. But I would just be so disappointed if in 20 years I was who I am today.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
It would be like, man, you let yourself down, you know? It's not even you let yourself go, but it's like, to be at the same level of knowledge, to be at the same level of personal, who I am. I
Right.
would love to be more patient, more inspiring, more, so
Right.
figuring out who you want to be, 10, 20 years from now, and then figuring out, okay, what are the steps that I need to take now to grow that kind of person. My husband and I think about this a lot with our kids. We have individual ideals of as a human being,
Right.
who we want them to be once they're out of our house, the character we want them to have, and so we're constantly thinking about, okay, this is who we want them to be, so how do we teach them that now so that we have a shot? And it's a real small shot at this point, but we're trying.
Yeah.
And so, if we do that for our kids, why would we not do that for ourselves?
Yeah. Well, and you and I had talked about in the past, I'm one of those guys that one of the reasons that I don't retire is I don't know who I would be if I'm not this. And I didn't intentionally end up here, but I unintentionally, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. All you people know I'm okay. Prison really helped me and straightened me out. But if I had to do all over again, I would be much more intentional. So for all of your listeners, I would be intentional, of course, as a dentist.
Yes.
Be the best that you can be, which means get the education. Yes, get the tools, but surround yourself with a great team because that's going to be your win. I would be intentional on education. I would be intentional on who I am as a husband, which is you don't graduate and then, okay, this is who I am. No, intentionally grow as a husband, intentionally grow as a father, because without it, we just kind of end up, like you said, 20 years down the road, and hindsight's always 20/20, and you don't want that hindsight to be regret.
Right.
Why didn't I? I was so caught up with, and this can be a problem, I get so caught up in being the best dentist that I can be, that I lose myself, and I lose my family. I can't even remember his name, but there was an educator I used to listen to, I can't remember, from McKinney, and I can remember him saying, their class, his graduating class, 100% divorce rate.
Wow.
Is that a win? No.
No.
So you just got to be intentional about your family, intentional about education, intentional about health.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage and an intention only becomes reality with habits, small daily habits. So it's not, I can see the person that I want to become, but I only get there with developing daily habits to get there. And they don't have to be huge, but they stack on top of each other. And then you get this multiplication effect. So that's what I would suggest. Just be intentional about your life.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I think it's important to think about that as in conjunction with, it all works together.
Right.
But you can become too heavily weighted on your career or who you are as a provider or a dentist or a dental professional that you unintentionally forget to focus on just who you are as an individual. So I think that's really good advice. Awesome. Hey,
I think that's it. Let's go to breakfast.
Let's go eat. I'm hungry.
Love you.
Love you.
Thanks for joining the conversation today. We hope that you are comforted in knowing that you are not alone, but we also hope that you're walking away with some really great tips and tricks to try in your practice. We value your feedback, so please take a few moments to rate and review the podcast. Finally, we want to make sure that we're covering the topics that matter to you. So track us down on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and let us know what topics you want us to cover. As always, please know that we are rooting for you today as you manage your dental drama.